Welcome back, friends. LostScarf here, and it's time for more Miles Edgeworth investigations, Ace Attorney, all that. Okay, so let's link. So, with the lobby window open and the smell of the perfume, connect. It's simply not possible for the killer to have escaped through barred windows. And yet, the fragrance of the perfume managed to escape from the defendant lobby number 2. What this means, though, is the murder was earlier. Because right now there's no autopsy to tell them the time of death. Right now they're basing it on just what they found. Of course, incorporeal things can move freely through these open barred windows. That means maybe he wasn't the killer either. That means there's an extra killer. Very loud TV, open window. Now then, what else besides a smell can go both in and out of an open, barred window? The answer is sound. So no matter how careful the killer was, if the windows were open, the jig would be up. Since the windows in both defendant lobby number 1 and the hallway were open, it explains how the sound of a gunshot could be heard in both locations. Like how sometimes a little more whimsy with his voice. And there it is. Gunshot, missing evidence. This is it. The missing piece of evidence is a video that shows the moment in which Mr. Rell killed the embassy staff member. The sound of the gunshot left quite an impression on me when it was played during the trial. You could have killed them and then gone to the other room and then set up this thing. That's what happened. It might be you, because at this time, there's a point when Gumshoe and Bad aren't there. But it's a point when that Cadopian guy isn't there either, so... The video should have been returned to Mr. Faraday's evidence bag for the recess. And brought back here. If it disappeared after that time, then it's possible that the tape is still here in this room. Eureka! The evidence that the missing, evidence created for me is the gunshot sound that no one should have been able to hear in the first place. Mouse, what have you been thinking about? Stop wasting time thinking and let's start looking again. It's not a waste of time to think, for I have figured out where we should look. And where would that be? I believe we should examine the television. The TV? Well, you kids have fun. Go ahead and examine whatever you like. Begin investigation. Isn't this the only thing to investigate? I won't rest until I've inspected every serious-looking nook and cranny. VHS, just go in there. It's a video player, and there seems to be a videotape inside. It looks like it. The tape must have been stopped on its own when it reached the end. This tape, could it not be the missing surveillance tape? But this means someone had to come in and stop the TV, or the TV was blinking on the whole time, was just black screen on the whole time. I suppose, but... Detective Bad, would it be alright with you if I verified the contents of this video? Sure, knock yourself out. Alright then, let's rewind this and see what we have. If I remember correctly, the footage of Rell killing the embassy staff member should be at about the 30-minute mark from the start of the videotape. Understood. This should be about right. Now then, let's see. Which means the tape is like 30 minutes for this thing. This is the footage of Mr. Rell shooting the embassy staff member. I knew it. The missing piece of evidence, the surveillance video, was here all along. And now they've seen someone die. This sound. What's the meaning of this? It appears that Detective Bat has figured out the true source of the gunshot he heard. With this, we can figure out the trick behind this double murder. Do you mean that you've figured it all out then? Yes, all I have to do now is show what the gunshot detectives Bat and Gumshoe heard was, and through where they heard it from. Fine. In that case, show me what you've deduced. So the gunshot detectives heard. And through where they heard it from. So obviously we deduced the tape. Yeah, it's connected to the evidence, yeah. It's connected to the damn tape! This piece of evidence will clear the way for the last-minute conviction in this case. Mouse, I believe that piece may actually be proof of a different last of sorts. Proves that today will be your last day as a prosecutor. Ah, okay, so I did that wrong. Okay. Fine. But I did it wrong. So deduce the window. And then the tape. There we go. If the door and windows to the crime scene, namely this room that we're in, were closed, the killer could have used the gun and no one would have been the wiser. That's true. This courthouse does seem to be well designed for such a thing, as it were. However, what happened in reality was... Detective Gumshoe, Detective Vad, and Miss Yu, all three of them heard the gunshot. Well, the windows in lobby number 1 and number 2 and the hallway were open. Naturally, the people in those locations could hear it. Ah, but then why would the criminal open the window in the first place? To allow the gunshot to be heard, I suppose. Correct. That's the only logical conclusion we can draw from this. But why was that necessary in the first place? I want a real answer, Miles. I demand satisfaction. Very well. I believe that the killer wanted to manipulate our perception of a certain fact. What was it that the killer wanted to manipulate our perception of? The time of the crime. When the crime took place. The killer wanted to fabricate the time of death to their precise wishes. And used the gunshot in the surveillance video to do so. Blam! So that's why the tape was left running. You mean the gunshot I heard was from this video? Yes, which means that the murders really occurred at an earlier time than we thought. Ooh. It must have been during the recess, but before Detective Gumshoe was on guard duty. Someone who has an alibi. Someone who has no alibi for that time period. And planned this crime out in advance. That person is the real killer. I only think of 2 people. And it's gotta be someone who knew about the knife. And it's either you, or it's that Cadopian guy. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, what is it? Miss Yu is asking for you. She's in the courtroom. She says that she's identified the murderer, but that she wants to clarify something. It looks like Miss Yu is still investigating something. Understood. Please tell her that I will be right over. I'll come along. I'll come along. I want to hear what she has to say. It would appear that the time has come to uncover the truth. The final battle, finally? That's gonna be at least 2 episodes, I assume. To be continued. I didn't click it? Yep. Saving. September 10, 6:15 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 3. Think how crime would work out if people were able to investigate things correctly this fast, right? That was just a common thing where crime was just done better. Huh? Okay, what are you doing here? Oh, hello, mister. I'm still investigating. But the object you're looking for has already... Okay, don't mind him. Please continue with your investigation. Okay, you got it. Detective Vad, haven't we already found what you were looking for? If it means I can keep her in the dark just a little longer, any little task will do. Oh, you're more sympathetic than I thought. Huh. I've been waiting for you, Edgeworth. I've also been waiting for the moment in which we can finally lay this case to rest. The moment in which we can finally lay this case to rest? Wasn't that when we placed Detective Gumshoe under arrest? I think we've moved more than solved. I think we've more than solved this case already. Don't you? Well, see, it all depends on whether or not your logic holds. Oh, I see. We even have a view in the gallery. And why even Mr. Bad is here? A view in the gallery? I'm hardly just a standby. A bystander? I have a duty to see this case through to the end, no matter how it turns out. Oh, is that right? Anyway, I thought you might like to hear what I've slaved away to find out. I've taken statements on every single person's movements. During the time when our suspect was in the hallway, I also confirmed that there's no possible route of escape from lobby number 2. Therefore, the killer must, without a doubt, be Detective Gumshoe. And that's all you have? Yeah, that's all there is to the conclusion in this case. Sorry, but I beg to differ. In a trial, there's only time for a rebuttal. There's always time for a rebuttal. And we are standing in a court of law. It'd be more than appropriate to follow the rules of court. In this case, don't you think? Oh, absolutely. Like a rookie to think such a thing. But alright, I'll play along and give you a proper testimony. If my logic is correct, then I've already won. All I have to do now is to prove it by showing who the real killer is. I don't want it to be you, but it's probably gonna be you. It's probably gonna be you. I'd rather beat the other guy. It might still be the other guy, who knows? Or he might just be the final villain to catch in the 5th case. Everyone sends the suspect has an alibi for when the gun went off. Furthermore, the areas around the crime scene have all been thoroughly investigated, right? I also confirmed that there is no possible escape route from lobby number 2. Which leaves us with one unshakable conclusion, that Detective Gumshoe is the killer. Whew. Now that you have your testimony, I expect a good rebuttal, Edgeworth. But of course. I'll butt you good. There's no need to confront her logic head-on right now. I should instead focus on drawing any trump cards she has up her sleeve. Rebooto! The suspect? But I thought that Detective Gumshoe's alibi has already been proven. Are you kidding, Edgeworth? I assure you, this is no joke. Look, I know you heard from the judge earlier, that the detective was in the hallway with Mr. Faraday's daughter eating a Swiss roll. Yes, that is correct. But see, that was 20 minutes before the real gunshot went off, right? And the problem is, there's no one else who can corroborate what he did since they're snacking. I see she's done her research well. Which means that I should focus on drawing out whatever trump card she's holding. Whether they have been thoroughly investigated or not is not for me to decide. The scrunched eyebrows and lines on your forehead are back. Anyway, even if you believe it hasn't been exhaustive, the crime scene lobby number 2 has no way out other than the hallway Detective Gumshoe was standing in. And because he claimed to be there, that makes him the only possible suspect. But isn't it always possible that someone escaped through a window into the garden? That's the first place everyone looked, silly. The police aren't a bunch of lazy bums. They looked into every possibility, you know? Isn't that right, Mr. Bad? Yeah. There wasn't a scrap of evidence to suggest someone used one of the windows. There also weren't any footprints or anything in the courtyard garden. I suppose they really did check everything that could be relevant to the case. Are you absolutely positive that there are no possible routes of escape? Of course I'm sure. Then why are you so certain? This is a courthouse, the place where criminals are brought in to be judged. If there were an escape route, I'm sure every criminal would be using it to escape. It's just common sense. Miles Edgeworth, I suggest you use a bit more of it in the future. Woo! You may think it's unshakable, but to me, there are still too many unanswered questions. For example, who was it that placed the gun in Mr. Faraday's hand? But you're the only one who's still wondering that. Detective Gumshoe probably had no idea which hand Mr. Faraday used to write with. Even if you know someone, it doesn't mean you'll know which hand they write with, right? I mean, I certainly don't care about that sort of thing. I'm not about to let her get a rise out of me with such a flippant statement. I suppose we've really reached the end now. I already have my trump card already. All that remains is to play it. But before I do, I think I should inquire about a little something about your argument. You said earlier that you confirmed the alibis of every person other than the suspect. Well, if I don't recall either Francesca or myself speaking with you about the subject. Ah, but there were witnesses for you. There is your mentor who gave you an alibi. I see. As for the little missy, she came to the courthouse during the recess. And was stopped by a security guard at the door of the hallway. She gave him quite a whipping for that, or so I heard. I'm the daughter of Manfred von Karma. And I will not be forcibly stopped by a guard or a bailiff for anyone else. Wait, so basically the only reason Francesca bothered to show up today was because she found out that I was to be the replacement prosecutor? Well, he knew that already. By the way, Miss Yule, what about everyone else? Everyone's alibi before Detective Gumshoe was assigned to guard duty. What about them? Have you looked into what people were doing during the span of time? What kind of idiot do you take me for? It doesn't matter when the killer went into lobby number 2. From the time we heard the gunshot, to the time Mr. Bad and I arrived at the crime scene was as we dashed from lobby number 1. The only person who could have committed the crime was Detective Gumshoe. Yes, let's talk about when you and Mr. Detective Bad heard that gunshot, shall we? I suppose that if we go by your logic, then Detective Gumshoe is the only one. However, what if the crime had occurred at an entirely different time than when that gunshot you heard went off? What then? That gunshot was a trap meant to manipulate our perception of when the crime took place. Sadly, your explanation is very lacking, Edgeworth. The gunshot we heard in lobby number 1. Care to explain how that could have been fabricated? With a tape! That tape! That's exactly what you think it is. This is the surveillance tape of Mr. Rell, the prosecution presented in today's trial. This was found loaded in the video player in lobby number 2. That was connected to the large television that had its volume turned all the way up. You can't honestly mean that the sound we heard was the gunshot in the video. Ah, but I do, which leads me to my next point. The murders occurred much earlier than when anyone heard the gunshot. That's the only thing I can think of, too. The thing is, someone had to set up the windows for this. Someone had to kill them, set the windows, kill them, set up everything, open the window, go to lab number 1 and open that window too. And the only one who could think to do that might be Miss Yu. After committing double homicide, the killer took the surveillance video from Mr. Faraday's evidence bag, turned the television's volume all the way up, and left the video to play. If played from the beginning, it would take 30 minutes for the gunshot sound to come on. And since we now know that this method of time manipulation is possible, it opens up the possibility that the killer is someone other than Detective Gumshoe. Sounds from a television doesn't amount to much here. But of course, Mr. Prosecutor Edgeworth and little Miss Von Karma already knew that much from the very beginning, right? Of course we knew, didn't we, Miles? Yes, of course. We know about the soundproof quality of this courthouse's rooms. Of course, I'm not about to admit we had no idea until only a little while ago. That's right, and if the rooms are soundproof, then we should not have been able to hear it. And yet we heard the gunshot clear as day. And? That's it, end of story. But it's not. Okay, so she's the killer. I should explain why she was able to hear a gunshot from a soundproof room. The window was open. There's a hole in the wall. There is actually one common point between lobby 1 and number 2. And it is that despite the fact that both rooms have air conditioners installed, the window was open in each. Yeah. Now we know that the window in lobby number 2 was opened by the killer. However, window in lobby number 1 was also opened. It's probably just coincidence that they were both open at the time. It was no mere coincidence, I assure you. Why was the window opened in lobby number 1? The answer is that of a certain person did something to cause the window to be opened. person who triggered that action, that person is the real guilty party. The real killer in this double murder is... It's Miss You. Listo you. Just scum save in case I'm wrong. Present! Miss Callisto Yu, I hereby formally indict you of the murder of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell. Huh? What? You indict me? Holy crap! Ooh, right across the face. Are you serious, Miles? Why do you think she's the killer? I don't understand her motive just yet. But of course I'm serious. Because she's the only one who could have done it. Well, Miss Yu, do you still feel like laughing now? She's gonna laugh. Of course I do, Edgeworth. My argument must not be tight enough yet. Although I never thought things would spiral into this. But I'll have you know, I'm enjoying this dance quite a bit. I guess this means it's time for my own rebuttal, right? Rebuttal the rebuttal, alright. Double rebuttal action, all the buttles! You argue that the window was open, however. Do you have any proof it was I who did it? Furthermore, do you have proof that the tape was used in committing the crime? Frankly, I'm shocked at you for going around accusing people of murder like this. Especially with logic as full of holes as yours. That's it? Alright. This is where it really starts. I mustn't let my guard down for even a second, or the truth will blow away. Now is the time to put the patented Von Karma perfect proof to the test. Oh, you mean... make some fake evidence? Because that's the Von Karma proof. Evidence? All I need to do is some prints analyzed and we'd know straight away. Be my guest. That means bed open the window. She sounds as though she has room to maneuver, which means... even if we were able to lift prints, they'd only show that it was someone else's butt. Why that someone else was forced to open the window? That's simple logic. The perfume! Why don't I try presenting that piece of evidence? I might have nothing to lose. What's wrong? Scrunched up eyebrows, lines on your forehead, they're all back. More importantly, are you going to be okay not running a fingerprint analysis? Yes, I'll be fine. Oh, well in that case, I'll just continue with my testimony, alright? So I hit her with the perfume soon. He's like, Jesus, she had way too much of that on. I thought I just proved that it was. Sure, you proved that the tape was there at the scene of the crime. However, that doesn't prove that it was actually used in said crime. Unfortunately for you, Miss Yu, the fact that the tape was there at the crime scene is in itself very important. How so? By the very existence of that tape at the crime scene, it proves the possibility that the when of the crime could have been fabricated. That possibility alone renders all alibis and witness reports irrelevant. Basically means that we all will need to re-examine every person's movements again. Whether the tape was used in the crime or not. That we can reevaluate afterwards. So in conclusion, you're admitting that you can't prove that it was at that time. Even if you're shocked, that is of no concern to me. I do things my own way. Oh? I see that you're not laughing for a change. Because I'm shocked. Again, you being shocked is no concern to me. Let us continue with the testimony. Alright, but let me say one thing. You shouldn't go around accusing people. What are the holes? Full of holes? Well I suppose it might be. Oh, admitting to your faults now then, are we? At this point in time, is what I meant to say. Should I take that to mean that you're just a sore loser? No matter how full of holes my logic may be right now, I plug them on at a time. I will ultimately make my way to the truth. What a paradox. Take care to not fall into one of those holes before you fill it up. Miles, you remember, don't you? That's why our window in lobby number 1 was opened? Yes, of course I do. And that's how I'll attack. I'll present the reason why the window had to be opened. Hey, let's do it. Present perfume. I'm sure you've seen this before, haven't you, Miss You? Edgeworth, I never knew you were into wearing that kind of perfume. It's not exactly what I'd recommend for boys, you know. What? This isn't mine? That's right, it's mine, and I received it from Detective Badge, you see. Miss You, you can pretend all you like, but we know at least this much for sure. This bottle of perfume was given to Detective Bad by you. Because it gets really strong really fast. So, what about the perfume? While you were in lobby number 1, you made a big show of spilling some of this perfume. That's according to Detective Bad. Oh, I know. You also knew that if you spilled it, he would naturally move to open a window. Come now, I've already told you that it's all just a big coincidence. After we opened the window in lobby number 1, I just left it open, you know? So maybe it was just dumb luck that we heard the gunshot through the window. The timing of when you were going to spill the perfume was something you could control. And the most important fact about this case is when people were made to hear the gunshot. Furthermore, it would have been pointless if you didn't have an alibi for yourself at the time. You mean... Miss You, you're the one who called Detective Bad into lobby number 1? When you saw him bring Detective Gumshoe into the hallway? Is that correct? All of today's premeditated events could only have been thought up by you, Miss You. Haha. You accuse me of murder on the fact that I spilled a little perfume. Well, allow me to say this much. I couldn't have killed Mr. Faraday. Would you care to testify as to why? Look, I've had a lot of fun today, really. But I grow weary of this game of cat and mouse. Let's make this the last testimony and wrap up this absurd case once and for all. Oh, this is it? Final rebuttal. Why, it couldn't be me. Accusing someone of murder over a spilled bottle of perfume is a bit over the top. But I suppose forgery of evidence is to be expected as a disciple of Bon Karma. There it is! In any case, it simply could not have been me who killed Mr. Faraday. After all, I don't even know where the knife that was used to kill him came from. That's a good point. Miles, her testimony is flawless. Yes, but no matter what sort of trick she may try to pull, she won't escape me. And if I'm lacking in information, I'll just draw it out of her. Yeah, she'd have to know about the knife. She'd have to have Yatagarasu knowledge. I think I already explained the significance of that earlier. You only confirmed that I did spill some perfume. But that's all. That you would accuse me of murder based on a simple spill? Don't you dare complain when I sue you for defamation of character. Do as you like, but as for me, I believe... You believe? I believe that you are the true culprit in this case. My, you're enthusiastic. Of course, I should have guessed. I formally request that you desist in your attack against my mentor. Yes, we'll sue you for defamation. All I'm doing is telling the truth. Well, maybe more than like spreading gossip. Although your adamant denials are, shall we say, just adding fuel to the fire. How dare you? Say such a thing. Calm down, little girl. Don't let her get to you. Why did you have to ruin my fun? Or shall I continue? And why exactly could you not have killed him? I was just about to testify that. You're such an impatient man. I'm not really into that, you know. Your preferences have no bearing on what is at hand. Feeling a little uncomfortable, are we? Miss You, you will desist in this tomfoolery and return to your testimony. And Miles, if you're going to lose your cool, then I won't show you any mercy. Sorry, Miss You, please continue with your testimony. Sure. As I was saying, I couldn't have possibly killed Mr. Faraday. At this rate, she will inevitably escape. But if she really was the one who killed Mr. Faraday, then she must have known about the existence of the knife. That's the thing! I'm sorry, Miss Yu, maybe you weren't aware. However, the knife that was used to kill Mr. Faraday was taken from his evidence bag. Miles, what do you think you're doing? I'm drawing the truth out of her. That's what I'm doing. Huh? But I don't recall a knife being presented at the trial earlier today. Well, I suppose that's because the evidence was something Mr. Faraday had yet to use. So that's what you're trying to do. Look, why don't you cut it out of the lies? I've already figured you out. There was no knife inside Mr. Faraday's evidence bag. The only evidence he had yet to present was the key that Deodagracio had sent. And unless a key can eventually turn into a knife, you really don't have a leg to stand. I don't understand this logic here. This requires her to know the key can become a knife. And she's acting like she doesn't know that. And it's perfectly possible she doesn't. Did you really think you could trap me? Come now, you be honest. I never intended to do such a thing. It was all a misunderstanding on my part. In any case, I wonder if you might append what you just said to your testimony. Sure. Why not? I'll even say... Double I. Oof. These errors. I even say it as many times as you'd like. Which is what they do in this game. There's a key in this evidence bag, but you can't kill anyone with a simple key. Miss Yu, I would just like to confirm something with you one more time. Oh, did she not know about the key? She should know about the key's existence? Oh, about what's going to happen to Detective Gumshoe after this? I don't need to ask you about that. Because he isn't the killer. Looks like the number of wrinkles on your forehead have increased yet again. It makes me sad she's the killer. That issue aside, Miss Yu, I'd like to ask you about what was inside the bag. You are sure it was the Yatagarasu's key, correct? Yes, I'm sure. Which is why I'm completely baffled as to where that knife could have come from. I think I've just spotted a road to a perfect victory. Finally, it would appear that you have revealed your true identity, Miss Yu. She's the Yatagarasu? Miles has found a statement. Yes, I know. All I have to do now is to present the evidence. But what is this ominous feeling that I can't shake? She's the Yatagarasu? Like, my thing is, was the key never presented or not? That's the thing I can't remember. The key was already presented, but... Well, I guess there's an evidence list, right, so... There we go, here we go! Miss Yu, I wonder if you might take a look at this photo for me? This is a picture of the key that Akarasu sent to the police. However, while it may look like a key at first glance, it is in fact has the secret ability to transform into a knife! Which means that's what was inside Mr. Faraday's bag. Was both the Yatagarasu's key and the murderous knife. You knew that the key was inside Mr. Faraday's bag, did you not? Yes. Well, with the Yatagarasu's key alone, it's more than possible to kill Mr. Faraday. You understand now, just knowing of the existence of the Yatagarasu's key. Here's the thing. I just haven't had a good look at it. Showing it to me from that far away, you could be lying for all I know. You would, even now, still feign ignorance? I'm not feigning anything. But we can't have you accusing me of a crime with false evidence now, can we? I'm Mr. Von Karma. I've heard some very interesting rumors about him. Are you mocking my papa? Don't you dare sully the good name of my mentor! Now take a good look. This piece of evidence is more than real. Wow, who knew there was such a trick to this thing? Are you satisfied now? But of course you knew from the very beginning, didn't you? You knew that the knife and the Ararasu's key are one and the same. Otherwise, someone like you, who's a member of law enforcement and who would never have been privy to this trick, would have never known about it to begin with. Furthermore, there's something that Yatagasu sent to the police. How did you have knowledge as to what it was? Actually, I heard it from Mr. Faraday. Just before he dragged Mr. Rell off, he told me. Oh, that's right, I almost forgot. He also told me about the key turning into a knife at that time. Seriously? But he didn't tell me about that, how the key actually transformed. What are you saying? What you are saying is simply not possible. Oh, and why not? Because Mr. Faraday himself didn't know about the hidden knife within the key. But within these pages, he mentions nothing about a knife. Puh, I'm not sure he would have written everything in his organizer, you know. Wouldn't something of this importance be better left to oral communication? Unfortunately, that is also impossible. Because Detective Bab didn't know about the knife suspect either. It... What would have been highly classified information, even within the police force? And is something that even the lead detective on the case didn't know? Why would Mr. Faraday have felt the need to share such information with the opposition? Yeah, I guess he wouldn't have much of reason to. Looks like I gave a pretty lame excuse, eh? How can you laugh at a time like this? You probably just realized the flaw in her logic and is actually in a panic over it. But that's not something we need to concern ourselves with. I suppose you're right. Miss Yu? I'd like to state that I also know how you know the real nature of the knife. Do you now? Well, why don't you put your money where your mouth is and show me? Oh, I will, and I'll wipe that smile off your face by the time we're through. This is the moment of truth, the secret behind the Yatagrasu's key. Only one person would have had knowledge of it from the get-go. Who would know about the start of that the Yatagrasu's key could change into a knife? The Yatagrasu themselves?
Take that!
There's only one person who would have known about the dual nature of the key. And that is the person who sent the Yatagrasu's key to the police. That is to say, the Yatagrasu herself. Are you saying that this liar is the great thief Yatagrasu? Miss Yu? You used Mr. Rel to lure Mr. Faraday into a trap, didn't you? You who professed the bear judge against criminals? Why? Why do something like this? I can't do girl laugh at all. Damn, she's losing it! Jesus! Alright, I'm not even gonna try anymore. Okay. Who would have thought that you, a stupid rookie prosecutor, would see through me? Okay, she is right. You're sending the biggest chill down my spine right now, Edgeworth. This feeling of thrill. It's even greater than when I sneak into someplace. You killed Faraday? Why? Answer me, Listo you. Listo you? Huh? That's not my real name. Because my real identity is, yes, the great thief Yatagrasu. Who? Let me tell you something, Edgeworth. Mr. Faraday was one difficult man to deal with. For you see, he had discovered my true identity, which is why I had to erase him from the world of law. I made Rel an offer, an acquittal for a little favor in return. All I had to do was accuse Mr. Faraday of being the Yatagrasu in court. But once we entered the recess, Rel was dragged off by Mr. Faraday, which threw my plan into a complete mess. I chase after them and eavesdrop on them through a crack in the door. That Rel caves the only two things: money and authority, just as all thugs do. Caves too, okay. I feared my plan was going to be ruined if Mr. Faraday held on to Rel any longer. Plus, if I had let them continue on the way they were, I would have been found out. That's why I had no choice. I had to kill them both. But didn't you say that you despise criminals? But do I really? Have you forgotten about the KG8 incident too? Maybe. What sort of woman would... So then, was it your plan to kill Mr. Faraday with the very evidence that you sent? Well, I had a good idea of what Mr. Faraday was going to do. anticipated that Mr. Faraday was going to prove that Rel wasn't the Yatagarasu, by using this Yatagarasu's key as evidence, and that he would bring it with him. Which is why I thought to use the knife portion. With a weapon as well disguised as this, no one would be the wiser. Because who in their right mind would think something like this could be a weapon? I casually entered lab number 2 on the pretext that I had to talk with Mr. Faraday. And in order to get in with him, I pretended to be worried about something. He then let me hold the Yatagarasu's key just like that. He never noticed that I had changed the key into a knife inside the plastic bag. And he didn't have the chance to take note of the knife that took his life. How could you kill him? I knew him for a long time, you know. At the very least, I thought I'd give him a quick and painless death. But if you killed Mr. Faraday first, there was no need for you to kill Mr. Rel as well. I believe I mentioned why when we were placing Detective Gumshoe under arrest. Something about the having accidentally created an eyewitness. And how that led the killer to think about setting them up, as though they'd killed each other. Then the trick of the surveillance tape? Yes, I hadn't actually planned to use a gun. The risk was too high and that I'd be caught. However, that's when I remembered the existence of the surveillance tape. Which is why I had Rel help me set up the crime scene. After all was said and done, I rewarded him for all his hard work with a bullet. You're a defense attorney, aren't you? How could you? How could you betray a client? Ha! Client? If you want to talk about who was a client of whose first, it was me. As a client in the matter of the Cadopian Embassy staff member, dead man. You ordered a hit job? You still haven't figured it out, Mr. Bad? I had Dead Man killed because he was about to give away info about the smuggling ring. Now, who exactly do you think would have benefited from such an assassination? It can't be. You're... That's right. I'm a member of the smuggling ring. What? How could this... You don't mean you're working with Manny Cochin too, do you? Maybe, maybe not. Guess you'll never know. Cochin killed her sister! Unless she's not their sister. The Yatagarasu claims to be noble, but you're just another cold-blooded killer. That's right, little girl. The Yatagarasu is just another killer. Be quiet, you. Yatagarasu? You can run from the law, but you'll never escape it. We'll just humbly accept the judgment of this court. Hey, Edgeworth. Did you know the Yatagarasu has 3 legs? Do you know why that is? I assume the reason she's revealing all this is because she doesn't think she's going down. No? Well, let me tell you. It means that the Yatagarasu has more than one razor-sharp way to do her work. A gun! Oh, shit! Ooh. You really are too naive, Edgeworth. You even handed the Yatagarasu's key right to me without a second thought. Everything may not have gone according to plan, but I'm still glad to take it. Ooh. You mean the key was your real target? Huh, and even after I give you such great advice, didn't I tell you to always keep a good eye on your criminal? Or you may regret what comes to your negligence. You two, get down! Eek! Ah! My body, I can't move! Hey, mister, tell you why! Huh? What? You! She shot and ran. Okay. He followed. Why did she... Okay. Are you alright, Francesca? I'm perfectly fine, Miles. Her voice is shaking, but it looks like she's unharmed. Where did Kay go? That's a gunshot. That means there's more to this case. But we're near the end, so what the balls is happening? September 10, 7 p.m., District Court, Courtroom Number 3. So I got another hole in my coat. Sorry, but it looks like she got away. I called the precinct. They should have a perimeter set up soon. Detective Bad, are you alright? I heard a gunshot. I'm okay. Just got another hole in my jacket. I got it right. Got another hole in my jacket. He may say he's fine, but he looks quite shaken. But more importantly, boy, I mean, Mr. Edgeworth, Miss Von Karma, are you two hurt? He respects them now. I'm absolutely fine. I'm also alright, thanks to Kay. Speaking of Kay, where is she? I don't know. Just sort of disappeared. I'll go look for her. Oh, and hey, Detective Gumshoe. Yes, sir? Detective Bad, sir? I'm sorry I doubted you. Don't worry, sir. It's not your fault. Well, I lied to you guys too, after all. I heard about what happened. From Kay. Lying while giving testimony is still unforgivable. But in this case, you were protecting Kay and her feelings. Looks like you just might have what it takes to be a real detective. Now don't you ever lose that detective spirit, okay? Yeah, you got it, Pups! Pups? Watched one too many detective dramas recently, have we? Way to single-handedly destroy the cheery atmosphere with one snarky comment. I should get back to the investigation. I swear I'll catch you if it's the last thing I do. Be careful, Detective Bad, and take care. Thanks. Well, I'm off. Maybe we'll run into each other again someday. Thanks a bunch, pal. You're the best. You really did find out the truth behind everything. Yes, well, I'm glad we solved everything before you were taken to prison. I can't believe how much trouble I caused you with my testimony, Detective Gumshoe. It's no problem, really. I mean, I lied too, so I didn't help anything. It's really not your fault, Your Honor. Well, even if we didn't have His Honor's testimony, I think that lawyer would have found another way to get you convicted on her behalf. Yeah, I can't believe I was about to get fired during my first week as a detective. Well, so long as you're not fired, you should work hard, give all that you have, and perform your duties well. Oh, and one more thing. Kay left a present for you with me. She did? Oh, what is it? What was it that Kay left for me to prove their friendship? I assume it was the Swiss roll? Double checking. Nah. Saving.
Take that.
It's a courthouse special Swiss roll. Can I really have it? Yes, it's a present meant for you after all. Thanks a bunch. You have no idea how happy this makes me, pal. I'm gonna eat this right now. Sure, go ahead. The Swiss rolls Detective Gumshoe and Kay brought together. While the one Kay saved never reached her father, it would appear that her sentiments have touched the heart of this detective. He's so happy it's as though he's having a welcome back celebration of his own. Well, I was asked by Kay to give it to him. Whoop, that was good, pal. I can't believe I got to eat two of these delicious things in one day. It's like I'm in Swiss roll paradise or something. I gotta thank Kay myself. Hey, wait, where is she? You only noticed just now? Was his mind not present when we discussed her earlier? Detective Bad left to go search for her earlier. Maybe we should go join him. Yeah, you betcha, pal. I'm gonna go help him. Oh, but first... You know what, pal? Actually, I guess I shouldn't be so rude to you anymore. I'm gonna stick right by your side from now on, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Please don't. Please don't. I sense nothing but a most troublesome relationship from that ominous statement. You should go home too, Miles. We have to hurry and report what has happened to Papa. Agreed. I'm afraid you must be going now, Detective. Roger, sir, and don't you worry. All of us get the next case around real fast. Real well. I'll, be counting on you. The scent of trouble is definitely in the air. Just like a bad dream, my first outing at court came to a disturbing end. A few months later, I was finally able to properly stand in court as a prosecutor against Mia. The detective in charge of the investigation was, as dreaded, Detective Gumshoe. After that, he became my direct subordinate. I have tried, but words fail to describe the immeasurable suffering he has caused me. I suppose that's just how things are. As for the little girl who suddenly disappeared, she's now... Here's what's confusing. So, do you remember now? Yes, I remember everything. Kay, it's been a while. Kay, you sure grew up a lot. Of course, but thank goodness. I thought you two had totally forgotten about me. You know, I was really worried about you after all that. Where have you been all this time? Tell me, I didn't know you cared. After my father died, I went to go live with my mother's relatives. They lived really far away, so I wasn't really able to come back here all that much. Oh, is that what happened? Well, I'm just glad you're alright. So, does it all make sense now? One thing doesn't. You bet you it does. Oh, you know what? I was going through my father's bookshelves recently and... Actually, there's still a number of things that don't make sense, Kay. Huh? First of all, why did you come all this way to see me? And second, why are you calling yourself the Yatagarasu? The Yatagarasu is Callisto Yu, the woman who killed your father. No, you're wrong. The real Yatagarasu was my father. Because she mentions the key, so she killed him for the key. The question is, how come he didn't know the key was a knife? That's what's confusing. That's the confusing part, because, yeah, we figured it was the father. And she said, thanks for the key. I really needed this key. Why did she need the key, right? The Callisto wanted the key. After she used it as a murder weapon, which is very odd. Mr. Faraday was the Yatagarasu? Like I said, I was going through my father's bookshelf recently, and I found a secret diary hidden among his books. I have no regrets in choosing to walk the path of the Yatagarasu. That was written in his diary, and that's how I know for sure. But that's impossible. What's with that look? You don't believe me? It wasn't just the expression on my face. I clearly said it was impossible just now. Alright then. How do you explain this? It's a way of disarming any security system of the user's choosing. Yep, that's Little Thief. Truth be told, this is Yatagara's greatest secret. And this little gizmo was used by my father. Wow! Mr. Faraday wasn't just a great prosecutor, he was really a great thief, huh? Yeah, my father worked really hard to steal the truth. But he was killed. And the Yatagarasu was no more. But despite that, the Yatagarasu has been spotted again recently. Someone other than you? Here, Mr. Faraday. Here, Mr. Edgeworth. Take a look at this article. Yatagarasu sends card to embassy. Card received by the embassy. The embassy again? The Yatagarasu sent the embassy a calling card? Yeah, meaning that person's a fake. I'm almost certain that Callisto Yu lady is behind this. Because the real Yatagarasu would never send something like a gaudy card out. But the Yatagarasu did send a white card along with anything to be publicized. That's what Detective Bad told me 7 years ago, if my memory serves. Well, as soon as I heard the news, I got all wound up and I knew I couldn't just let it go. So I searched you out, so that I could obtain the truth behind the Yatagarasu. Because if anyone can help me find it, I figured it's you, Mr. Edgeworth. So you're saying that I have your father and Mrs. Yu's identities backwards? Yes, because the real Yatagarasu is noble to the end. And I want to revive the real noble Yatagarasu. If I don't, my father will never be able to rest in peace. Hey? Hey, you're so honorable. I don't care what anyone else thinks. I'll always be here to cheer you on, pal. Even if you are honorable, a thief is a thief. And if you are plotting to commit a crime, Then I'm afraid I can't be complicit. Mr. Edgeworth? Oh, you guys are not making it easy for me. Who am I supposed to support now? I lost the voice a little bit. Mr. Edgeworth? What I want from you is not to steal something. What I want is the arrest of that evil woman. That evil woman? You mean Callisto Yu? I think it's too hard for me to catch her all by myself. I thought that since you were able to expose her for who she is, then maybe. Please, Mr. Edgeworth, won't you help me? Come to think of it, I do believe I owe you. Huh? You owe me for what? When Miss Yu made her escape, it was you who saved my life. Furthermore, you helped me with the investigation today. I'm not so rude as to leave favors unrepaid. Then you mean... Yes. That case has been weighing down my soul ever since that fateful day. Thus the time has come to settle things once and for all. If you don't intend to sully your hands in a crime, then I believe I can help you. Mr. Edgeworth here? Thank you. Yay, Mr. Edgeworth! Sir! Isn't that great, Kay? Yeah, it sure is, Gammy. Even though he had completely forgotten about her until just now. What is it with their Kim-Shy relationship? The great thief Yatagarasu. After all that time, the true identity of the thief sank back into the darkness. Bern Faraday, Callisto Yu, and Kay Faraday. The phantasmagorically changing identity of the great thief Yatagarasu. And Yatagarasu's real goal, she said there were 3 legs, right? It would all come to light the day after I made that promise to Kay. The end of that chapter. I thought that chapter was long as balls, and we got one more. Remember that reminiscence? Find it. Turnabout ablaze. We burning things. All right. Save, yes. Okay, so over here, let's get the full shot. All right. Gumshoe! Alright, see over here. So it's, let's see here, yep. Edgeworth. Francesca. This guy. Gumshoe. And now it's Faraday. Kay Faraday. First I was like, wait. I thought maybe she took Kay and trained her and brainwashed her. That's what I was thinking, like, wait, what the fuck? Nope, okay. Save. But there's still the fact about her sister dying as well. Like, Callisto's sister dying. So I'm curious about that. What's that about, too? But there you go. That right there is the game for now. I had fun. Hope you had fun watching. That's what's all about it. Having fun. Thanks for coming by. And see you next time.